A green check mark means I've restored it, so I'm a quarter of the way there. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today are a couple of original 1968 Hot Wheels Sweet 16 castings, looking very much their age. This is the Python, and I got this one on eBay. It's the Hong Kong release. I received this Custom Cougar in a mail call from my friend Paul at Diecast Graveyard, also looking like it came from the salvage yard, but that's the hobby, isn't it? We'll know a little bit more when the paint comes off of these, whether they're able to be restored back to new condition. I'm going to use both of these as my submission for the National Redline Day Invitational, sponsored again this year by the Four Horsemen. The archaeological portion of this video is the disassembly of a couple of toys that are nearly as old as I am. There's always a metal base on the original Redlines. The Python has a nicely detailed engine. Quite often those are missing. A very basic two-seat plastic interior with a steering wheel. Blue glass in remarkably good condition. And the well-hammered die-cast body. Ever notice that the Python is asymmetrical in the front and the back? Huh. The original Redlines have metal rivets like these cars do, which makes them a little tougher to take apart than the modern-day plastic pieces. Uh-oh, the Cougar's got a wonky hood I didn't notice right off the bat. Another blue glass. This is the Hong Kong version. And a blue interior with a black plastic steering wheel. One of my challenges in this project is going to be finding the proper replacement Redline wheels. There is a package on its way to Switzerland that hasn't arrived yet as of the beginning of this restoration, but hope springs eternal that they'll arrive in time. I'm thinking that neither of these cars is currently sporting the original paint job, and that assumption is based on how quickly my paint stripper bubbles these up, and they're easily removed with an old brush. Oh, that's worse than I expected. But I've come this far, so I think I'll start some restoration techniques just on the roof and see how far that takes me. I'll use this bullet-shaped wire attachment on my rotary tool. It made some difference. This is 120 grit dry sandpaper. A little bit better. So I'm inspired to continue over the rest of the car with those first two steps. Then I switch to this Scotch-Brite wheel. Look at that. Big difference. Not done yet. This is 4/0 superfine steel wool. And I'm encouraged. There's a flood of memories coming back to me handling these old cars. But I want to look forward as well, and these are some of the die-cast projects that you'll see coming up on Maple Leaf Customs, including a 3D print of a Hulk superhero figurine. And don't forget, everybody's invited to participate in my annual Canada Day Invitational. Circle July 1st on your calendar for that. The Python was based on the Carcraft Dream Rod show car that you see here, built by Bill Cushenbery. The Hot Wheels casting was designed by Harry Bradley, and did you know it was originally advertised as the Cheetah in Mattel's advertisements for the new California custom-styled Hot Wheels, as seen in the original magazine advertisement from 1968. Now compare the polished Python and the unpolished Cougar. Quite a remarkable transformation. It's been saved. Today's community shout-out goes to Diecast Heroes magazine, whom you can follow on Instagram or buy their magazine releases in printed or digital form. They've been very kind to feature some of my custom jobs. I've mixed up some Spectraflame purple paint. It's a two-part mix. I apply just a light mist coat on my polished car. Very careful not to go too heavy too fast, and I can skip ahead to this top coat. I'm getting a very nice, rich, dark purple. Exactly the way mine was when I was a kid. One of my high school football teammates drove a metallic green Cougar. It was the family car. So to honor that memory, Spectraflame green goes on mine. Once again, light mist coat that you can barely see. Each subsequent coat gives you a darker and darker finish. I covered up the engine to minimize the chrome retouches that I'll have to do. And I also sprayed the hood, of course, and it fits better now with that little bit of extra paint applied. That looks great. What's this? Another Sweet 16. This is the Custom Corvette that Tom from Spork Syndicate sent me. Thanks, buddy. I don't know how much longer I've got in this hobby, and I really want to accomplish restoring all 16 of them, so if you're going to do 2, why not do 3? You'll likely see them done in pairs in future videos here at MLC. Tom was kind enough to send me the replacement hood, too, which of course I need to finish the Corvette. This might be the one I remember the most from my childhood collection, and it made me a lifelong Corvette lover. I remember taking this to school in my pocket, just showing off. The Custom Corvette was one of the first cars released in the original 1968 Hot Wheels lineup. According to lore, because of the fact that designer Harry Bradley worked for GM shortly before moving to Mattel, he snuck out copies of the blueprints in his cane. He had polio for the real 68 Stingray and used them as a base for this Hot Wheels model. When the Sweet 16 Hot Wheels debuted in the summer of 1968, the cat was out of the bag, as Chevy's 68 Corvette was not due out for another few months still. This worked out in a good way, as it created more hype for Chevy and their Stingray, and for Hot Wheels, from both kids and adults alike. And now you know the rest of the story. This one's got its defects like all cars of its age, It's missing one of the hinges for the pop-up hood. That's easily fixed up with a straight pin from my wife's sewing basket. Job done. As an experiment, instead of the Spectraflame urethane paint, I'm using this brand new Clear Red by Kaleido from their Translucent Colors collection that was just released. Same airbrushing technique though, very light mist coat. I'm using a 0.4mm needle on my Aventus Black Aurora airbrush from Gaahleri. And I'll skip ahead to this top coat. After a short stretch in my dehydrator, I can handle it like this, enough to chrome around the engine parts. Interesting, all three of these cars have exposed engines that need detailing. And with the pop-up hood back in place on the repaired hinge, I've got a glistening candy finish. I haven't even applied a clear coat yet. It's one of the fantastic new products from Gaahleri, and you can follow the link in the description to this video for a 10% discount using my affiliate code. The metal chassis on all three castings get the same flitz polishing treatment that the bodies did, and it takes them right back to 1968 brilliance. Now for some Hot Wheels highlights, to be true to the originals. The nose of the Corvette needs a little bit of black trim. I do that with a metallic marker from Gaahleri. That's all it takes. The clear red paint that I use on the Corvette is also perfect for taillights. There's the python highlighted, and the distinctive lights on the back of the Vette, as well as the Cougars. Any sloppiness can be cleaned up immediately with a Q-tip. So the deadline is looming large, and my replacement wheels have not arrived in the post, so I had to get creative. I needed a pair of size small for the front of the Python, and I didn't have any. It's hard to get all this stuff in Switzerland. I pulled these out of my used Redline wheels baggie that I never throw out. This was the best looking pair. And with the fine tip of a toothpick and some Molotov chrome, you know what? Close enough till the replacements arrive. The Cougar gets 4 new wheels. I did experiment with a pair of large on the back, but it didn't look just right. But I thought it was worth a look. In the end, it gets 4 mediums. Now for some windshield refurbishments. I was lucky in that all 3 were in pretty good nick. I use this polishing cream because they really just need a cleaning. That job can be done with a soft microfiber cloth. That'll pass. Final touch on the glass is a little bit of Mr. Hobby number 30 clear. You can apply it generously because it's self-leveling. This is Bruce Pascal with the world's most expensive Hot Wheels, the rear-loading Beach Bomb. Would your wife let you spend $175,000 on a toy car? My $1 restorations are going back together now. pretty simple and straightforward, so I'll fast forward through it. The Custom Cougar was also designed by Harry Bradley, originally available in only two colors, Spectraflame blue and orange. Subsequent releases expanded the color palette. Only some Hong Kong Cougars came with the black vinyl top, in case you're wondering why I didn't do that. This was such a fun walk down memory lane for me, and maybe it was for you too if you're of the same vintage. But I hope you enjoyed this even if you're not. I'm all finished, so let's have a closer look at these restorations. This is the Python in deep purple. There's only a few things that need highlights, like the tail lights and that engine. Remember, I had to do some refurbished wheels on the front. They'll get replaced in time, but they're good placeholders for now. The Custom Cougar has a pop-up hood, so I re-chromed the engine. 4 new medium tires. Taillights were brightened up. A nice green paint job. Kinda masks that blue glass. All of them got refurbished, polished chassis. Nice one. And the paint experiment on the Custom Corvette, I think, turned out beautifully well. It also needed a little bit of repair work on the hood hinges. Glistening metal chassis. 4 replacement wheels. I'm pleased with that one, as it was such a favorite for me as a boy. Well, this one has traveled a long way from Australia to Switzerland. I think it was worth the trip. The Cheetah, now known as the Python, is looking the business. This one definitely underwent the biggest change of all 3. The Custom Cougar was feeling blue, and rightly so. It had been chewed by the dog. But miracles still happen, and here's your proof. Shiny new with Spectraflame green paint and new wheels. The Corvette was the 3rd hard case that I had on the bench, but come on, that's how it looked in '68. I'm going to hang on to all 3 of these until I complete the set of 16, then maybe there'll be some great big event to give them away. All 3 of them exceeded my expectations based on the ragtag shape they were in, and I'm no Redlines specialist, but it was good practice for me. And now I've got 7 of them done, almost halfway home. If you enjoyed this video, I invite you to leave a respectful comment below, and hope you'll come back again soon, and often. It's coffee time.